Good Monday morning, everyone. This is Ruben and Veronica with Red Alpha Custom Prints with another episode of Red Alpha Mugshot Monday. We want to thank you for tuning in for another episode, and we have another exciting episode ready for you. We're going to talk a little bit about our working weekend this past weekend. We're going to talk about a show that we just finished watching the first season for our showmate section. And we obviously we have the famous coffee break where my lovely wife talks about some random thoughts or maybe even something that happened that she wants to share with you guys. And then we're going to close it out with a behind the X's and O's, just a small thought that I can leave you with, a nugget that can help you in life, help you in business. Then we're going to close it out and we're going to get to work because we got a lot of work to do.
Got stuff to do.
Got stuff to do. So for those of you who are just tuning in and maybe you came across our a short video and you're wondering who we are the owners of Red Alpha Custom Prints. We're located in Abilene, Texas, and we own a print shop. We do everything from business cards to window wraps and everything in between. And what we try to do on social media is post all the projects that we, once we complete them, we do like a project spotlight. We highlight the customer that we're working with and, of course, the service that we provided for that customer. And so you can scroll through any of our social media channels and you can see all the work that we have done and get a good idea for what it is that we do. But also you can go to our website at www.redacp.com. And right now it's kind of all decked out for Christmas season because we're in the middle of ugly Christmas sweater season. And so we're doing a lot of that stuff too. So it's as soon as the seasons change, the website's going to look a little different. But you can go and browse the products and services that we have there. You can look at the blogs that we have in place, like the Petty Elf blog. We also do some X's behind the X's and O's and just random thoughts that I have. I put it in the form of a blog post. But yeah, that's who we are. And so without further ado,
you do?
That's her running joke. We're going to get into our coffee mugs. It can't be a Red Alpha Mugshot Monday podcast if we're not talking about the coffee mugs that we chose for the week. This week I chose the Family Man coffee mug. This is one of my favorites for two reasons. I consider myself a family man, right? So it's just a reminder whenever I pour the coffee in this cup and I'm grabbing for the cup, it's just a reminder of what I'm doing it for. I'm doing it for my family. I do this podcast for my family. Every single wrap that we do, I have my reason why I do everything that I do. And so Family Man, but also I love the movie Family Man. We haven't seen it yet.
We haven't seen it, so we have to.
We're going to watch it because that's a Christmas something that we watch during Christmas, right? So Family Man, that's my coffee mug of the week. And this is not a new coffee mug, but it's one that it's kind of regular circulation. I probably got about, 20 different ones that I select. Just depends on my mood for the day, mood for the week. And then we go with it there. But what did you pick?
I got my Treat Yourself.
Where's that from?
This is from Parks and Rec.
From Parks and Rec, one of our shows that we like. That's with Tom and Donna, where they do that Treat Yourself bit, which is hilarious.
Hilarious.
Yeah, that's a big old coffee mug. Did you fill it all the way to the top?
No, I didn't. I just did it kind of like halfway, less than halfway. But I got this as a gift.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Those always make I think this was a gift too, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it was a gift.
It was a gift too. So thank you to the person who got it. Who bought it for me? I don't even remember.
Me.
You did? Oh, you buy me so much that I don't know which is which.
You're welcome.
But yeah, so that's it for the coffee mugs. That's my reason why I bought it. She got hers as a gift. And of course we like the show. So it doesn't always have to be a lesson. Right. It doesn't always have to be something inspirational. Sometimes it's the one that's just closest to us. Right. But tell us in the comment section, how do you guys go about choosing your coffee mug for the day? Right. Is it is it something inspirational that's on the coffee mug that kind of gives you that extra energy that you need for the day? or is it just whatever the coffee mug is closest, or do you use the same one all the time? Let us know. I'd like to hear how you guys go about selecting your coffee mug. But that's how I go about mine. Sometimes it's like, oh, it's been a while since I drank out of that one.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's like, I'm feeling this kind of energy today, so I'm going to get this one right here. And then sometimes it's just the one that's closest to me. So it just depends. But that's how I go about it. And so now we're going to roll into our first section, which is our project spotlight. Like I mentioned in the beginning, we had a working weekend, and so the project we had a couple projects that we were working on over the weekend, but the one that I want to highlight this week is the one with ProFlow Heating and Air. The thing that makes this one really cool is how I actually connected with this customer, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that. But what we did is we replaced decals that they had with some fresh decals, gave them a new look with brand new decals. They wanted to make a couple of changes to the layout, so we did those, and we completed that yesterday. Customer picked up. He was definitely happy. He's got some other stuff that he wants to bring our way so that we can do our thing, and so it was just a successful project.
Success.
Well, it wasn't a perfect project. So
the customer just sees the end product.
That's right.
And success.
We
met or exceeded his expectations.
That's right. But behind the scenes, I didn't set the pressure on our plotter. And so to the right depth for the material that we were using. And so what that meant is that whenever we were weeding out the excess vinyl for the decals, it wasn't coming off. And so it was causing us to get behind on it. And so it's like, man, so I asked him if instead of picking it up on Saturday, if he could pick up on Sunday, and everything was cool there. And so what I did is I just reprinted everything.
Sometimes it's easier to just like start from the beginning instead of messing with trying to
do it by hand, right?
Trying to fix what you got.
Yeah. And so, sometimes you only learn that, after you've been in business for a little bit. You kind of pick and choose your battles, because there's been plenty of times where it's like, okay, we're going to do this because we don't have enough material to reprint, or, we do have the extra material, but we need it for the next project, or whatever the case may be. And we're sitting there doing it by hand, and that is for the birds.
It's for the boys.
For the boys. Don't want to be cutting by hand what you have a plotter to do. Yeah. Right? It's like, even that doesn't matter how good you are.
No.
Which we're actually pretty decent.
We're really good. We've gotten really good at that.
Yeah. So we can do it when we have to. But if I can pick and choose, I'm going to print it all over again. I'm going to scrap the loss, just take the loss, but I'm going to reduce the amount of headache that I'm going to take. So we just reprint it, relaminate it, reran it through the plotter, did it, everything worked good. And then we put them on, and, and then it was even a little warmer, on Sunday than what it was on Saturday. So that always helps. So it's just, picking and choosing your battles when you're in production, to kind of save your sanity. When you've been in business this long, 15 years, those little types of decisions, those make a difference, right? Because, you can sit there and have stress, all the time, where you can say, you know what, I've been down this road again. I don't want to travel down this road again. So I'm just going to forget it. Let's reprint and let's do it again. Yeah. Less headaches. Yeah. So it was good. It was good. And so then you never like avoid the conversation, right? Because in the past, it's like, oh man, we got to get it done. We have to get it done. And so we're sitting there trying to do the impossible. There's no way we're going to get it done on time. And so we're doing it by hand. And now I've gotten real good to say, hey, you know what? Even if we do this perfect, we're not going to do it on time because it takes too long. So it's like, now is the time to update the customer and say, hey, we need a little more time. And 9 times out of 10, the customer is willing to work with you as long as you can communicate with them. Right. As long as you can communicate, most of the time they're going to be okay. But if you're sitting there, waiting in avoiding the uncomfortable conversation, and you wait till the end and you can't do it on time, that's worse.
Worse.
Right? So we don't do that. We don't do that anymore. But the cool thing, the way that we came across this client is so they had run a sponsored ad on Facebook, and a couple of days before I saw the sponsored ad, we were out there. We're wrapping a trailer, and so we were wrapping the trailer, and the decals that they had on their vehicle, it just stood out. Like I was putting the thing on, and then I looked, and I was like, "Oh, that's pretty cool." Just the contrast on the truck, it just caught my attention, right? And then so I looked over there, and it's real easy. Their name, ProFlow. You can. It was a good. It was a good. How do you say it, layout of the design, because whenever I looked at it, it was like, I know the name,
easy to remember.
I know what they do, and I know how to get in touch with them. Even though it was going fast, that's all you need on a wrap or decals is those three things. Because whenever you're driving past somebody, they don't. It's not like you're sitting at a light in most cases or parked. They just need to be there real quick within like 2 seconds. Really, they need to be able to know who you are, how to get in touch with you, and what it is that you do.
At least get your name, so they can Google you or look you up on Facebook.
Something like that. QR codes don't help you whenever you're driving past. There's no way that you can. Yeah,
get your camera out there. We always look at those kinds of designs on commercial vehicles. Yeah. Like if it's too busy, I'm like, man, that's just too much going on. It's going to distract you. You're looking for the name, and it's in there somewhere. The colors are too dark or too much going on. It defeats the purpose.
Yeah, and so creativity does play a part in this. But one of the questions that I had to ask this customer, because he was like, whenever we're going through the creative brief, he was like, I'm thinking about this, and what about this, and he's like, what do you think? Right, is what he asked me, and so I had to ask him a question. I was like, okay, so what is the purpose of this job? Is it to advertise your business, or are you looking for, are you going to put it in car shows or something? Because that's a different conversation. Yeah. If you're planning on taking this vehicle and you're going to, be in a magazine, or you're going to go do some car shows, that, creativity plays a bigger part, right? The colors and all of these things. It can be a busy design because you're going to go park it somewhere and people are going to look at it and kind of check it out. But if it's for commercial reasons, where it's just for advertisement or to promote your business, sometimes less is more. And so that's basically what I told them. I said, if all you're looking at is for people to know who you are and what you do and how to get in touch with you, this right here is the best way to go, in my opinion. And so he trusted our experience. And whenever he picked up, he was like, man, and this was his words. He said, I wasn't completely sold on the logo in the back. He said, even when I saw it on the proof, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to really like that. But then whenever he saw it in person, he's like, man, but you made it work. He's like, I'm glad I trusted you there, because it actually looks better than what I thought. And so sometimes a proof doesn't really tell you everything, right? It just kind of gives you an idea, but it's not until you see it put on the car or the vehicle that you see what, what it's, I guess the impression that you're going to get whenever you watch it, whenever you look at it. And so that's something that we do all the time, is like we take that into consideration. And we don't mind having the conversations with the customer to kind of get their ideas. And we take those ideas and we put it together and we try to bring those ideas to fruition on their vehicle. But so whenever I kind of started rambling, but so whenever he drove by, and it was probably like 2 days later, I noticed his sponsored ad on Facebook. And so I was just being nosy, like not really being nosy, but it's like I made the connection. I saw him drive by, and now I'm seeing the sponsored ad. I'm going to click on it to see what it is that they do, because maybe there might be an opportunity for us to do, business cards or shirts or something else. The their decals were already on, so I wasn't going to necessarily talk to them about that. But whenever I clicked on the see more part, the little link, it actually sent him a message. And he was online whenever I sent it. He was like, "Hey, Ruben, how's it going? How can I help you?" And I was like, I just had to confess. I said, "Man, I apologize. I was just being nosy, and I was just wanting to read your post to kind of get an idea for what it is that you do, and honestly to see, how my company might can help you."
Yeah.
I said that was the purpose. And then he's like, "Man, it just so happens that I'm wanting to redo my decals."
Yeah.
And then that being nosy normally is not a good thing. But in this case, it led to us, getting our first vehicle. We've already done some business cards, and they're looking at getting some more stuff from us in the future. So for those of you guys who are afraid to initiate the first contact, let me tell you, it works, right? I'm not afraid to do a cold call.
No.
And I'm not afraid to send somebody a message like that doesn't know me. But for those of you guys who are waiting for people to come to you, maybe they are coming to you in these sponsored ads, in your friends sharing their stuff, noticing somebody post that maybe you're not interested in or in the market in, but you can initiate the conversation. And maybe that might be your next, heating and air company that you're going to work with, and so I always try to, interact with the posts that I see on social media, because it means the world to a business owner just to have a like, a share, or a comment. And of course, we want everyone to be like a customer, but you never know when the person that's scrolling on your social media, for the business owners, you never know that person that's just scrolling might be the guy that's going to refer you to other people. You might be the person that will do business with you at some point, or he might own a business that would benefit your business. So the people that like and share and comment on your stuff, show them some appreciation, because you never know what that might lead to. But yeah, that's the project spotlight for ProFlow. Man, it was awesome the way that it worked out. I'm going to tell that story as long as I can. It's like, because I got some nosy people in my family. So now I think about them in a different light, because had I not been nosy in this particular situation, we probably wouldn't have closed business. Wouldn't have met them, and it's like, that would have been a tragedy, because they're good people.
Yeah.
And so now, we have another good person that we're doing business with, and hopefully we can have a long business relationship, and we can help them grow, and then it helps us grow.
Yeah.
So that's it for the project spotlight of the week. We're going to transition into the famous coffee break. We don't have a name, the Red Alpha coffee break. But this is, if you guys remember, this is where my wife, she takes a random thought or something maybe she's been thinking about or meditating on, for a couple of days, and she shares it with you while I take a break, drink some water, drink a little coffee. My lady, take it from here.
So earlier this year, I cut myself with our utility knife that we use to cut, right? And I'm like, it was a big cut. I have a scar here on my hand, and I thought to myself, man, I need to remember to pull in the blade every single time, no matter what. I pull in blade, even if I'm gonna cut again really quickly. Well, this weekend I didn't pull in my blade, and I had got another cut over here.
Was it in the same hand?
No, the different hand. And I'm like, man, I must really like to
hurt yourself,
to get some cuts, because I didn't learn.
Yep.
I didn't learn, and that should be like by now. I mean, I've been working side by side with you for 4 years, but it's not the first time that I've had to handle a blade. Since before, but I don't pull in that blade, and it gets me in trouble every time.
Yep. Safety first, everyone. So now we got to go and change our sign to zero
days.
Safety days. We got to change it to 0 because of that. And I do it too. It's like, you want to do something quick, and so you don't you think that you're going to be okay. And then it's that particular time where you're like, boom. And it just like, I don't cut myself, but I poke myself a lot.
It's really sharp.
Yeah. And so, I poke myself a lot, and it's something that I got to remember. Fortunately for me, the pokes don't bleed, sometimes, and they don't bleed a lot if they do. And so, but man, we've cut ourselves being on installs, and we don't have like Band-Aids or something and so we're using blue tape to, as Band-Aids or whatever we have,
find
vinyl,
old tissue.
some toilet paper or something. And it's just like, oh man, okay. But we're getting better on that. I haven't really cut myself in a while that I can remember. And
in a couple of months.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a while for me.
I know, when you say a while, it could be last week.
Yeah.
For you.
But I mean, in our line of business, that's actually good because I'm handling a blade every single day.
Yeah.
Right. And so, it's not that I'm not safe. It's just like, sometimes you get like where you're on autopilot because you've done it so much. And then it's not that you're not being safe. It is because you're not focused on what you're doing. And then it's kind of like, oh, that one little poke, that one little cut wakes you up. And then now you're wide awake.
Yeah, because normally you'll keep the blade in your hand. It's not like if you're cutting it and then putting it in your,
tool
belt. It's like you keep it in your hand because you're going to use it right away. And then it's like you do this kind of movement, and that's what happened. It's like, you just cut right there.
Cut your fingers off. And luckily, we're not cutting our fingers off completely, because that would be a lesson that we'd have to learn just one time. But because it heals, we keep doing it to ourselves. But yeah, so this coffee break was about safety, right?
Yeah,
safety first. Make sure that you pay attention and that you're fully present wherever it is that you're doing.
Yeah.
It's so easy to go into to autopilot when you're doing something that you've done a million times before. But it's in those cases where it's like, maybe you're thinking about something else and you're not fully focused here, and then you mess up a panel, you cut yourself, you do something, that slip off the ladder. It's always something that can happen, right? So we have to be present, with what we're at. So what are some things that in your job or in your business or your line of business that you can kind of relate to this? Let us know in the comments. If it's safety, how big of a deal is safety in your line of business? I know some people just have cushy jobs where they kind of lay down in pillows and marshmallows and stuff like that, and so maybe they don't have to be safe. Yeah. But those of us that work with knives and climb on ladders and do stuff like that, safety is a big deal for us, right? But let us know in the comment section, and we'll reply to your comment, and hopefully it's funny and we can laugh at it too. But next up is our Behind the X's and O's segment. For those of you guys who might have been following us, Behind the X's and O's is a segment that I came up with, just thinking about the things that go on behind the scenes, right? And so to me, that's where the magic happens. That's, the conversations that we have behind the scenes that most people will never be able to see. They won't be able to hear the conversations because they're behind the scenes. Most of our customers, they come to us for a product or service, right? And then the only interactions that they have is, placing the order and then picking up the order, right? But they don't know the daily conversations that we have that help us be able to provide, good quality products and services, right? And then there's a lot of growth that goes within your conversations, and a lot of, looking forward and looking ahead that has to take place in order for you to keep doing it over and over and over, and then growing slowly but surely, right? And so this morning we were talking a little bit about this, and I was like, you know what? That's going to be our topic for the day. It's how do you transition from one season to the next, right? I'm not talking about Christmas to New Year's to Valentine's Day, not necessarily. There is a process for that, but whenever you're in a season of this is my sowing season, right? And then this is my harvest season, and this is my in between season, right? How do you transition from one season to the next without losing enthusiasm, right? It's something that I've been able to do. I didn't even know that it was like a gift that I had until, you're going year after year, day after day, year after year without any loss of enthusiasm. Then it just kind of dawned on me. It's like I'm gifted for this, right?
Yes.
And so a lot of times for people that, you're looking for that thing. I just had a conversation with one of our kids about, their desire to do more, right? And so one of the first questions that I asked is, what does that look like? How do you define more? Is it more money? Is it more, like a promotion? Is it, what kind of things are you doing in that more? Because if you don't have a clearly defined, direction that you're wanting to go to, you're going to make every decision is going to be made out of emotion, right? So it's like, well, I'm uncomfortable here and I don't know where I need to go, but I know that this is too uncomfortable for me. So I'm just going to move a little bit. And you never know if you're going in the wrong direction, right? So the first step when you're transitioning from one season to the next is you have to be able to see yourself in that next season, right? What does it look like in that next season? Start imagining, the changes that you're going to see, right? Whether it's physically, spiritually, emotionally, what are some changes? What's it going to look like? And give yourself the opportunity. I was saying that today. Uh, Give yourself the opportunity to be able to look at what can be as if it really is. Like it's not just possible, but it this is what it actually is. And so even though you haven't really manifested that next season into your life, you have to be able to look ahead and picture yourself inside of that season. Like what does it look like? What do the buildings look like that we want to buy, right? The foundation, how is that going to look? The plumbing, the lighting. What, are we going to paint the walls? What is it? Are we going to wrap them? What are we going to do? What type of signs are we going to have in the different departments? And when we start hiring employees, what are the uniforms going to be look like? What are our morning meetings? How are we going to handle our morning meetings, right? And what type of software are we going to use to be able to just communicate, internally? And then, what are our processes that we're going to have in place to make sure that every new hire is properly trained and positioned for success, right? And what's it going to be like for people that want to come work for Red Alpha in the future? What's that going to look like? Are they going to is it just going to be another job to them that as soon as they find something better, they're going to go somewhere else? Or are we going to be able to provide something that they can be proud of, something that they can tell their family and say, hey, this is a good place to work. There's benefits, there's good pay, it's a fun environment, and there's room for growth, right? Or is it just going to be just another job that they come and do, and in between, whatever transition that they're going through, or maybe they can't find anything else. Those are things that we have to start thinking about now, even though we're not there. But we have to start planning and preparing as if it's already a done deal, or else we're going to be caught off guard, right? And so the seasons, right? As you're in one season, you don't necessarily notice like when you're coming out of one season and when you're going into another, because every day just kind of looks like the same as the day before. The projects, in our business, the projects, even though that they're different, it's kind of, they all fall into similar categories. So we know how to go about closing the business, the production part, delivering the final product. We have a process for everything. And so every day can kind of start to look like the same, right? But one thing that I can say, and for those of you guys who are believers, you can kind of, this will resonate with you, is that whenever you're getting started, the decisions that you make and the process that you have to go through, from day to day, you know, the faith that it requires to be able to go from one day to the next, right? You notice that in the beginning stages, there's a lot of, miracles, or God is really providing in a way that you can't explain, you know, people calling you out of the blue, something that, a check comes in the mail that you weren't expecting, just something that happens that you didn't necessarily have a part of, right? That is what I call, you're in the wilderness, right? There's still provision day and night. God still will sustain you in the wilderness, but it's not like you can sit there and plant seed and you can't till the ground and water it and grow it into a harvest, right? It's just the environment is not right for that type of harvest, right? Usually it's hand to mouth, right? And so there are going to be, there is going to be a time where you're going to be in that season. But if you are managing what's in your hands, right? I talked about this last week. If you're managing the small things in your hands, then, and you're doing a good job at it, then you're going to start moving from that wilderness type environment to the different, land flowing with milk and honey. I don't want to call it that because, basically when you're in the beginning of that next season, and you notice that the miracles aren't happening no more, right? The calls that are coming in are because of the social media activity that you're putting in, right? They're the follow-up emails and the phone calls that you're making with the customers, and asking this guy for referrals, doing a good job right here. And so you can closely tie the new activity to the things that you're actually doing, right? And it's less of a miracle. Mm-hmm. I mean, you're still grateful to God, but you've developed your skills to be able to ensure that you're going to have, business coming in, right? And you're not going to have stuff coming, flying the quail by day and the pillar of fire by night. Not as much as it was, right? Now you got to work the ground. You got to do good business practices, right? You got to make sure that you're doing all the things that a good business would do in order to encourage people to want to do business with you, right? And there's people that are coming across our business just through the podcast that we're doing, and they may not interact or whatever, but they are seeing our faces come across their feed, and they're like, these guys do banners. Let me order some banners from them. Mm-hmm. And so it's happening more and more just through the activity that we're doing, right? We send follow-ups for feedback, reviews and things like that. Everything that a good business should be doing, we're doing it. And we're looking for ways to improve our process so that way we can ensure that tomorrow is going to look like what we want, right? So the activity that we do today, right, is going to determine the tomorrow that we live in. The seed that we sow, right? The words that we're speaking today are gonna determine our tomorrow. Our thoughts that we have today are going to determine tomorrow, right? And our financial seeds. What are we giving to certain things? Those are also going to open doors for us tomorrow. And so by knowing that, we can influence the next season, right? Without actually being there, right? We plan and prepare as if God is going to come through for us like he has in the past. And we move a little bit differently. But one thing that I was saying this morning in our morning meeting is like, we're getting older, not just in age, but we're getting older in business. We've been in business going on 15 years now. And so you move a little bit different whenever you've been doing it for 15 years, right? In the beginning, there was no proof that we were even going to stay in business, for a year or 2 years. But once you go past 2 years, and it's like, okay, can I make it to 5 years? And then boom, 5 years. Okay, can I make it to 10 years? And then before you know it, you're 15 years. And then it's like, okay, I know I can start something and I can do it for myself, but can I build something to the point to where my wife doesn't have to work a full-time job? or even a part-time job? Can I do that? Boom. Okay. So now that we've proven that we can do this for 4 years, we don't keep, shooting the same targets. We create new targets. So now can we build a business where we have a couple employees, right? Mm-hmm. Can we build a business with bigger facilities, where now we're doing our wraps and all that stuff inside of a nice climate controlled facility, right? And can we build a storefront so that people can come and place their, those are the things that are on our next season. Those are the things that we're talking about now, and we'll be executing as we can. We'll be executing to see those things into fruition. But whenever those things happen, people on the outside are going to be like, man, that was, overnight success. It's not. It's a lot of planning. It's a lot of disappointment. It's a lot of starting all over. It's a lot of like, okay, well, maybe, my mindset wasn't right, or maybe I didn't, properly manage this right here. So let me go back and manage it a little bit better. And it's a lot of, that process. And then it comes to fruition. And then it's like, man, this is exactly the way that I had it planned. So I worked towards it. And here we are today. And then once we get there, it's like, what is the next thing? And fortunately for me, I'm that type of person to where I'm always going to look ahead to the next thing. It's in my mind, for me, there's never it's not a season to where I'm just not going to be doing anything. I'm always going to be working on something. It's going to be building Red Alpha to the point to where it doesn't need me as much anymore, and we'll have good people in place so that they can manage and they can help grow the business to different levels. We have a lot of plans and dreams for Red Alpha, but there's also things that us personally that we want to do that's outside of Red Alpha. And I'm not talking about spending time with kids and stuff. All of that is a given. That's what we do it for. We want to spend as much time with our kids and our grandkids, and not be tied down to a location or tied down to the work, right? We want to be able to do whatever we want, whenever we want, right? But there, if you want to call it passion projects, that we have, that we, that is in our spirits, that we want to be able to do too. But we don't want to shut down one thing, start all over with another thing. We want to be able to have something that can sustain us, but not need us, 100%. And so that's the thing, the transitioning. Just to kind of, recap. Number one, you got to see yourself in that next season. The clearer you can define that next season, the stronger the pull is going to be. If you can't clearly define what it looks like, then it's not going to pull you, or you're not going to pull it. There's some sort of force, like a magnetic force, that pulls you to it to you, that has to take place, right? And I believe that when you clearly identify what it looks like, you start a pull. It starts coming to you. And the clearer that you can define it, and then you're like, okay, so I'm going to need this for that. And I'm going to need this. I'm going to have to develop this skill in order to do that. That creates a stronger pull. And then before you know it, it breaks like from one reality into this one. So wherever it's at, wherever it's floating around, in the realm of glory, right? Wherever it's at, there's a process that pulls it into this reality right here. And if you keep pulling, eventually you're going to be holding on to the thing. And so it's not going to come in unless you pull it, right? If you're not doing the things that you need to do today that are going to help you have that, it's not going to do you any good to think that it's just going to fall in your lap and then now I'm going to start doing all this stuff. It just doesn't work that way, right? Unless someone's giving it to you, right? But if you're working for it, and you and God and your wife, family, whoever your partners are working together to manifest something, right? That's usually the process that you have to go through. First, you see yourself there, clearly identify, what it looks like, and then identify the steps that it's going to take to get there. Manage whatever's in your hands to the best of your ability, and do not quit. Right? What else do you need to be able to do that? In your 4 years, what have you seen that you can add to those things? Or did I nail them all in the head?
You nailed them all in the head.
Yeah. And just patience, right? Just believe. We have to believe in each other. We have to believe in God, and we have to believe in ourselves.
Yeah.
Right? If we don't believe in all of those things, right? I believe that if you just believe in God, but you don't believe in yourself and you don't believe in each other, it's not going to happen. Because you're going to sit there and you're going to wait for God to, I don't know, he's going to somebody is going to give it to you or whatever, or is going to come in the mail, or I'm not with that kind of thing, because it's hard for me to believe that I can just sit around and wait for God to make my dreams come true. Right. I know he's capable, but it just doesn't seem like something that God is, doing. Right. He's going to help you get to where you can go. But that's why it's so dangerous for people to say God is in control. Right. Ultimately, God is in control, but it's not going to happen until you get off your butt, start believing in yourself, start using God's word and speaking it into the area that you're trying to go into. And then you and your wife need to have heart-to-heart conversations about, hey, we got to be in agreement on this thing. We got to be speaking the same things, and we have to be working, and the steps that we take have to work together, or else it's never going to happen. Like, what are we doing here? And so you have to have those conversations in order to have a chance, at bringing a new life into fruition. That's how you transition. That's how you start to transition. But anyways, that's how I do it. Hopefully it motivated you to kind of at least think about it. Maybe you got a better way of doing it. Put that in the comment section too, because, a wise man can learn from anybody. A fool thinks that he knows it all. I'm not a fool. I know I don't know it all. I know some things. I've gained some experience in a lot of things. And those are the things that I share with you. But if you have a better process, put it in the comment section. I'll look at it and consider it. And if it works, then I'm going to try it and I'll give you a shout out. Anyways, that's another episode. That's another episode of Red Alpha Mugshot Monday. We closed it out with the behind the X's and O's. And so for those of you guys who may be tuned in and don't know who we are, or want to know again who we are Ruben and Veronica with Red Alpha Custom Prints. We provide print services, products and services in a wide array of areas, from business cards to window wraps to vehicle wraps to banners, embroidery products, direct to garment, things like that. And give us a call. You give us a call, or you can message us right here on the social media channel that we're connected to, or go to our website, www.redacp.com, submit an inquiry, and we'll help you out from there. But that's all for me. Would you like to sign us out?
Yes, Red Alpha, and go out and do some things.
Yeah, Red Alpha out.
Red Alpha out.